Hi everybody and welcome back to Dragonite Creations. If you're new here, my name is Laurel and I love to create. And of course, one of my favorite things to create is gnomes. And I've had the idea for this guy in my mind for so long, and I'm so glad I finally made myself sit down and make him because he turned out pretty awesome. He is so sweet. He's playing his little flute there, just chilling, relaxing, leaning up against his stump, which we're also gonna make. So this is a big one today. We're gonna make this beautiful little gnome and we're gonna make his beautiful stump. So there is a lot to do. So let's get started. Okay, so it's going to start with these little prize pack that I bought at Walmart. That's where the whole idea started. I found these little flutes and I thought these were perfect. So we're going to start by just putting a little bit of hot glue on the end of a skewer, stick it in the bottom of it, and then I'm going to take it outside and spray it with some paint plus primer, and then we'll put it to the side for now, let that dry. Now I'm taking one craft circle, one hot chocolate container, and a whole lot of scrap clay that I'm trying to soften up. It was pretty hard. I have some difficulties with muscles in my hands and my arms, so using a pasta roller really helps. I have one that is specifically for clay. So I rolled all that clay out. Then I'm going to take some aluminum foil. We're going to take that paper coating off of our hot chocolate container. Paper wrapping, I guess, not coating. And then we're just going to cut this aluminum foil into a couple pieces. And I'm going to wrap it around our hot chocolate container using a small dab of hot glue. It will not last in the oven, so we just want a little bit right now to help us stick it for now as we're wrapping it tight. So we do want to have a big chunk hanging off the bottom, about the same amount as the size of our hot chocolate container. And we wrap our second piece and then just tuck it into the top of the hot chocolate container. Next, we're cutting strips in those long pieces that was left over, and we're going to just start making our little roots here for our stump by twisting and scrunching. Just shape it so that it looks like some roots for you. Next, I'm adding some more strips of aluminum foil that I just twisted into strips here, and now I'm just going to twist it into those same roots, adding it, pushing it down inside the container for now, at the top there. Adding a little clay at the bottom of it now just to help stick it down so I can work with it a little better. We're going to add some Bacon Bond. This is a Sculpey product. It helps your clay to adhere to things. It works wonderfully. Now we're going to take that clay that we rolled out and just wrap it right around that stump. You don't have to use a pasta maker. You can also use a rolling pin. I should mention that. Now I'm just going to take a ball stylus tool and I'm just going to roll it up and down, evening out those seams that are on between the two pieces of clay. Plus, this helps gives us really nice texture. When you roll these ball stylus tools up and down on clay, it really helps it look like tree bark actually. So you just kind of roll it really messy, just all over. And I kind of went in with different size rolls too, like I used the bigger one and the smaller one sometimes, and it just helps give it that really good texture. With the rough aluminum foil underneath too, it just works perfect. Same thing with the roots here of the stump. We're going to just do the exact same thing, roller tool up and down on there, wrapping this clay right around that aluminum foil, sorry. And now we're going to smear out that clay at the bottom, just smearing it right into the craft circle, just what's nice and smooth. Keep going until it smooths right into there, and then keep wrapping our roots up. Sorry, we're going to go through this pretty fast today, guys. There's a lot to go over. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I will answer best to my ability. I went over it now with another, this is a silicone tip tool that I went over it with just to give it some more texture. Then cut off our extra pieces of aluminum foil that were pushed inside the container. A smaller little ball tool now again. And once it is all done, we're going to put that in the oven at 130 degrees for 30 minutes. Once it comes out and it's nice and cool now, we are going to go over the whole thing with some black paint. Just covering the whole entire thing with the black paint. The only thing I didn't paint was the very bottom of the container. I left that the silver. Everything else we covered. Next, we are going to take some different colors of brown and tans and a little bit of yellow even of some folk art paints. And we're just going to dry brush those all over our stump here. Just covering the whole stump with the brown. We're not going to be really careful with it because we don't want it. We want some of that black showing through. That helps show off our texturing. Same thing with the tan. Each color that we got lighter, and each one we kind of went in a little bit rougher. So there was less and less paint each time. So we did the tan, and with the yellow, when I went over with that, that was just really light, just to give it a few little highlights here and there. Just going over the whole stump. And then we covered the base with the green. With this, I just went over and did the whole things. I didn't get right close with it. I went in afterwards with a smaller brush to get those tiny details all around the stumps. Just some nice dark green for now, just kind of a rough paint because we're going to go over that again later. Next, we took some green clay, and this we softened up, and now we're going to push it through a metal mesh strainer here. I'm using a ball tool to kind of help push it through. And once we get a little bit coming through there, you don't need very much, you just need a little bit of textury pieces. And once you have that, you're going to just take a knife, slice that off, use some bacon bond for that, and we're attach that right to your stump. And this looks like nice little mossy bits is what this is. It's awesome. I love this texturing. I do this on a lot of my paintings I do as well. So just some more bacon bond, some more moss. I put it on top of a cup. This helps hold it. You can slice off little pieces if you want littler chunks. Use your knife to poke it down. Next, I took some red clay, made a ball, popped in my little ball stylus tool there, and just rolled it up, smoothing it out. It's a little cornstarch on my hands. If your clay is too sticky, a little bit of cornstarch on your fingers helps that a lot. And then we just rolled out a little stem, and I just made some little slices going upwards all the way around it, just to give us that little more texturing details for our little mushroom stem here. Some more detailing again for the bottom of our mushroom. And once we get that how we want it, we're going to add some bacon bond and then just attach that to our stump. I then put some little white dots with an acrylic paint marker on the top. Next, we are going to do the exact same thing 2 more times. So I made 3 mushrooms all together, attaching them wherever you want them. Remembering to leave space though for your gnome to sit. And then we're going to bake that at 130 degrees for 30 minutes. Next, we are going to take our flute and we are going to just dry brush that with some metallic copper paint here. Then we're going to take our 4-inch pool noodle. We're going to wrap that up in a piece of white flannel with polka dots on it. It is a 7.5 by 7-inch piece I have here. So I'm just going to hot glue that and roll it up, trimming it off at the end. I didn't cut the 7.5-inch piece, so and then we're going to just hot glue it at the end and tuck in our ends at the bottom and at the top. Same thing, hot glue all around the top of your fabric and then tuck it in. Now we're going to take a piece of scrap denim. I'm going to cut it right along the seam so that seam is nice on the top. That's going to serve as our belt. I'm going to cut a 3 by 9-inch piece here. Hot glue one end over, just making a nice end. And then we're going to attach it to our pool noodle about 1 inch from the bottom with some hot glue, wrapping it all the way around. Hot glue right at the top or the end there, and then just overlap it. And hot glue and tuck it in at the bottom again. We're going to take our hair foam rollers now, remove the wire from inside, fold it in half and cut. Then we're going to take 2 pieces of denim that are 4 1/4 by 3 inches. Hot glue down the one side so we've got a nice edge. Then a strip of hot glue along the other edge. Add your hair foam roller and roll it up tight. Adding another strip of hot glue at the end to roll it up. Same thing with the second leg. Hot gluing down our one side. Attach your hair foam roller and roll it up tight. Next, for our booties, we are going to take 2 little containers. These are the ones that are 1 inch by 1 inch size. We're going to hot glue those to a piece of scrap cardboard here. Then we're going to take a 1-inch styrofoam ball, cut it in half, hot glue that right in front of our containers, one on each side there. Once that's cooled, we are going to trim around those. So just trimming around as close as you can, all the way around. Next, we are going to take a strip of green minky fabric. It is 2.5 by 5 inches. We're going to run a strip of hot glue right along the bottom and just roll up our booty. Finishing off with a strip of hot glue at the back, then trim off the extra. Some hot glue right in front of the container so you can push that down right in front of the styrofoam ball. And then some hot glue on the inside as well to tuck it all inside. Same thing with our other booty, some hot glue along the bottom, roll it up, finish it off with some hot glue. Some hot glue along the inside and on the front, right in front of the styrofoam ball there, just to press it down. Tack it all inside the booty. Next, we are going to take the wire from our legs there, and we're going to straighten it out. They have little hooks on the end, so just straighten out those little hooks. It just gives us a little extra length, and then cut it right in half. We're going to press it down, not all the way down because they're not quite long enough, because we want about 2 inches sticking up, or at least about an inch, inch and a half, we'll say. And then just hot glue it where you want it to be. Put plenty of hot glue so it stays in there where you need it. And then some hot glue right in our booty and press our legs right in there firmly. So again, lots of hot glue right in our booty. Press our legs in there so the wire is at the top. Next, we're going to take a pokey tool. I'm using a clay tool here, just something that you can use to poke a hole where you want your legs to go, right through the denim and into our pool noodle. And then we're going to push our wires right into that hole we made. Pull it out just a little way so you can add some hot glue to the wire. Just kind of spin it around so it gets in there nice, and then press firmly. Same thing on the other leg, spin it around, press it in firmly. For the arms, I'm taking another hair foam roller. This one's a little thinner. I also removed the wire from it already. We're just going to cut it in half as well. We're going to steal a wire from another one because we need 2 wires. Next, for the arms, I took a 2.5 by 4.5 inch piece here, and we're just going to hot glue down the one side on each of them. Then we're going to add a strip of green minky right to the end of the one, just adding good side to good side on the front. Fold it over and tack it to the back and with hot glue. Just fold it over, attach with hot glue. Next, add a strip of hot glue to the top of it, add your hair foam roller and roll it up nice and tight. Strip of hot glue to finish it off again. Just roll them up, strip of hot glue, nice and tight. Next, we're going to stick our wires back inside. First, I'm going to just pinch them together so that they are attached in the middle there, where the 2 little loops are. Then we're going to attach both our arms. Once we get our arms where you want them to be, just put some hot glue right in the hole there and let that cool off. While that's cooling, we are going to make our hat. For our hat, we're going to use a 6.5 by 12 inch piece here. I'm going to fold it in half, and then I just kind of drew out a triangle to kind of guide myself. You don't have to draw it, you can just cut depending how you feel. That's how I am anyway. Then I added just another 12-inch strip of minky here. It's about 2 inches wide. And we're just going to add good side to good side, hot glue it right at the bottom, flip it over, just kind of tack it down with some more hot glue, and then some hot glue right at the back and fold it over. Then we're going to fold our hat back in half again, add a little strip of hot glue right along the edge all the way down, and press that down firmly, making sure you go all the way to the top. And then we will turn that right side out, using a tool if you need to help. Next, I have some polymer clay hands here that I've made previously. I will leave a link in the description on how to make the hands and the noses. So we're just going to attach those to the wire that we have sticking out of at the end of our arms there. So we're just going to add a little E6000 glue and a little hot glue around the edge and poke that right in. Next, I've got a piece of brown faux fur. This is about a 3 by 3 inch square that I am now going to just cut into a triangle shape, just cutting off the bottom corners there. Just using a knife just to cut the backing. You don't want to cut the front because then you lose all your long strands. I'm just going to now use a comb and make space for my nose. And once you have a space, you can add a little E6000 to a polymer clay nose is what I'm using here, with a little glue around the outside. Press that down firmly. Little hot glue all along the bottom of our hat now. And pull that right down on top of him, making sure to go over top of his arms as well. And now I'm going to figure out how to attach his flute. So for that I did add a little hot glue, and then we're going to attach that right to the faux fur under his nose, right underneath there. And then to attach it to his hands, I'm attaching it to the minky, not his hands, because polymer clay is really hard to stick. I then just hot glued him right down to the bottom of the craft circle and added some bright green, just some little smooshes with my paintbrush just to give it a little texture all over the bottom. You can see I also added some highlights to the mushrooms themselves and a little hot glue to hold his hat right onto the stump. You can see the hot glue there underneath him. He's glued pretty good in there. And there he is, guys. I hope you love him as much as I do. Thanks for watching. So there he is, our little gnome is all ready. He is so sweet. So you can just put your pens or pencils or paintbrushes, whatever you want to keep in there. He would be a great gift or to keep for yourself if you really love him. So thanks again for watching, guys. I'm so glad you're here. And thanks so much for so many beautiful, wonderful comments I get. You guys really make my day. Some days it's been hard and I read some comments and it just perks me right up. So thanks again and keep them coming. You guys really mean a lot to me. Thanks for all the support. And until the next creation, love to all.